And for further analysis, we are now joined from Moscow by visiting a lecturer at Higher School of Economics, Ramy El-Kalyouby. A very warm welcome to Qnews Economic Bulletin, sir, and it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode. Sir, what are the main objectives behind President Putin's latest decree regarding foreign investment guarantees, and how does it differ from previous counter-sanction measures?
Actually, Russia understands that at the moment, as long as there are Western American and European sanctions, Russia is not very attractive for foreign investors who might be afraid of secondary sanctions imposed against those who cooperate with Russia. But on the other hand, Russia can enhance some foreign investments from friendly countries by providing guarantees and facilities. These investors might be interested in Russian market to achieve high economic goals and figures. And of course, there is some risk, but in case if there are guarantees and facilities and stimulations, they will cover upon those risks. World companies went even to very risky countries such as Iraq to invest in oil production. Anyway, the situation in Russia, even if it is not very stable on the global level, but still it is not so risky as Iraq or Afghanistan. So in this way, Russia might attract some investments.
Sir, how is the extension of the presidential decree banning oil and petroleum product sales at price caps expected to impact Russia's energy revenues and foreign trade through 2025?
Actually, Russia's budget relies a lot on oil and gas revenues, which decreased a lot since the war in Ukraine started. But still, Russia can get some revenues because even some European countries continue to buy Russian gas and even oil. And there are also, Russia found some alternatives in Chinese and Indian markets. And sometimes, actually, Indian oil products are in fact made out of Russian oil. And at the end of the day, they go to the European market. So that's how Russia can enhance its oil revenues.
What message is the Kremlin sending to domestic and international investors with these new regulatory changes, sir?
Actually, the message is that Russia is safe for investments. There are guarantees. Russia's economy is stable, and actually Russia could change this typical way of thinking that says that the country in a state of war should become poor and suffer economic problems. It appears to be opposite effect. A country which is leading a limited operation can develop its industries, because actually now industry, not services, are the locomotive of Russian economy. So the message is that everything is stable and foreign investments are welcome.
Given rapid inflation slowdown and easing labor market shortages, how will Russia's central bank adjust monetary policy, and can it hit the 4% of 2026 inflation target, sir?
During the last few months, Russia's central bank was struggling against high inflation by maintaining...
Is it struggling because of the war, sir?
Central bank used to maintain very high interest rate, which was 21%, and only in last June it was decreased to 20%, and it's expected to more decrease. Now the central bank says that inflation slowed down and it's possible to soften the monetary policies. But on the other hand, in case if the rate goes down, there is a risk that this money which were in the bank deposits would go to the market. And in this case, they will enhance inflation. So actually, the central bank has a quite difficult task to balance between reasonable interest rate to enhance business to invest, but on the other hand, to reduce inflation.
Sir, how would you characterize the current state of the Russian economy, especially in light of warnings about a potential recession and persistent inflation?
As I mentioned, Russian economy is quite stable, and despite war, Russia managed to stabilize its economy via establishment partnerships with non-Western countries, including Arab, Asian, African countries, and the Western sanctions are not international, so they are not compulsory for other countries. So in this way, Russia's economy could stand down against the sanctions.
Sir, do you read Russia as a strong country today economically in light of the circumstances and the war that it's going and sanctions that they're going through?
Actually, yes, for the moment, Russia is strong enough to stand in front of sanctions and war. On the other hand, in case if the war continues, there might be some long-term negative impacts. So, for example, like the lack of labor, because hundreds of thousands of men in the age of work are at war now at the battlefield. And Russia has to compensate them via immigration, but immigration usually causes other problems such as tensions between immigrants and local citizens. So that's why probably Russia should end the war as soon as possible to restore the civil sector of the economy.